This week on The Real Housewives of Miami.
Sometimes the truth hurts. Who do you think you are? Stephanie Shojai. Big and I'm Alexia Napola.
And I think you're very insecure.
No,
seek
look
a
up
therapist
insecurity yourself. I don't need that.
Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're going to be recapping the new episode of The Real Housewives of Miami, Season 7, Episode 9. Let's get right into it. I actually really enjoyed this episode, so yeah, let's talk about it. So the girls are getting ready for their cast trip to Spain. I feel like it's a bit early for a cast trip. I feel like they usually happen towards like the end of the season. But anyway, I'm really looking forward to this trip because they're going to Spain, and it really is a beautiful country, beautiful, just full of history, culture, traditions. Alexia used to live there for a few years when she was younger in Madrid. They are going to Sevilla, so we see the girls at the airport. Who is not there? Who is late? Lisa. Now, I've said this before, I like Lisa. I don't think she really has any like malicious intent ever, or most of the time. Like, I don't think she's just this evil, malicious person, but my goodness, is that annoying. Like, be on time. So the ones at the airport were Alexia, Kiki, Guerdy, and Marysol. So they go ahead and board onto their flight. Meanwhile, Stephanie, Adriana, Larsa, and Julia are flying on the private plane that Stephanie and her husband own. You know, can I be honest? Now, don't get me wrong. The plane looked beautiful. It got a bar, a bed, and it's just the four of them, you know? So it's awesome. But in a weird way, I would actually feel a little bit safer in a plane that is like part of an airline. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I just feel like at least my thought process in there would be, okay, they're part of an airline, maybe they have like stricter maintenance protocols. I'm sure the private ones have it too, but that's just a random thought. Anyway, so Stephanie gives them gifts. That's really nice. She then asks Adriana if her and Julia are okay, because, you know, there was some tension last week at Marysol's party. You know, Julia's being fake, not being a good friend. No surprise there. Also, Larsa is mad at Lisa again. I thought they made up, but no, she's mad because she's still following her ex-boyfriend, Marcus Jordan. Stephanie also had a lot of food, so they were definitely traveling like first class. Larsa asks Stephanie, why did she fight Alexia at Marysol's party? And Stephanie's like, I just think she likes to belittle women, and I don't like that. Julia then says, whoa, listen, if you think that she belittles you, that's one thing, say that, but for you to say that she belittles all women, that's a little extreme, that's not true. So then Adriana says to her, did you not witness her belittling me for like 2 years in a row? Julia then says to Adriana, I don't like that you always go backwards and you like to stay in the past. Then she's like trying to make excuses for Alexia. She's like, you guys have to remember that she's going through a lot with Todd. Listen, I guess Julia forgot that Alexia is the one who called her a Russian prostitute and who told a group full of women that she would always shine because she was born a star. Listen, Alexia, I don't necessarily dislike her, but she definitely thinks she's better than everyone else. Like, come on, Julia. So anywho, it is then the next day and the women arrived to Sevilla. The girls that were in the private plane, they arrived first. Of course, like I said, beautiful place. When they arrived to the hotel, the man working there tells Stephanie that somebody upgraded her to a presidential suite. Her husband. They then head up to that room, and it was like completely covered in roses, all these flowers, and a bunch of like Chanel boxes. I was like, damn. So then they go to their rooms. The other group is now arriving. They're heading from the airport to the hotel. Lisa didn't reach out to them. Alexia had to like reach out and be like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? The ladies that are at the hotel, you know, at this point, they've had enough time to settle in, freshen up, and to change, so they head down to the bar. Listen, I really wish I was there. It looks so good. Anyway, this is Stephanie's first girls' trip. So she tells them that she only really travels with her husband. So this is definitely new, and it's good that she's experiencing something new. Larsa says, yeah, I hope that it will be a nice experience. Stephanie says, yes, of course, we will have to address some things, obviously, and, just nip them in the bud. Because, I actually I don't dislike Alexia. Like, I want to give her a chance and get to talk to her. And then, you guys, the girls that are that came in normal, airport, they finally make it in, but they make it in that exact moment. So they say hi to the girls that are at the bar, and everyone's together now. So Julia can't even wait 5 minutes. The first thing she says to Alexia is, we were just talking about you. And Alexia gets very defensive. She's like, well, I don't care, they can all F off. And I mean, I get that reaction. Like, if you just arrive somewhere and the first thing that your friend tells you is, we were just talking about you, yeah, you're gonna feel crazy. They also catch the girls up on Lisa. She didn't get there on time. She missed the flight. When she got there, they had already closed everything, so she had to get in a separate flight all by herself. Then the girls who just got there, they go ahead and see their rooms so that they can, get settled in. But here's the thing, you guys. All the girls actually heard Julia tell Alexia, we were just talking about you. It's not like she whispered it. Like, she actually said it kind of loudly. So when the girls that just got here left to their rooms, the ones who were still at the bar stayed at the bar. And then Julia comes back and Stephanie says, I have a question for you, Julia. And Julia's like, yes, ask me anything. So then Stephanie says, what the hell were you thinking? She hasn't even been here for 2 hours and you're already gossiping? That's so disrespectful. I thought you and I were friends. Why are you stirring the pot? We just got here. It hasn't even been 10 minutes. You're the one who keeps saying that this trip has to be fun. What the hell? Julia then says, Stephanie, you gotta stop with the attitude. I didn't even tell her what we were saying. And Stephanie says, you didn't have to go tell her anything. Listen, you guys, Stephanie put Julia in her place to the point where Julia was kind of speechless. And that's what I was like, you know what? You go, Stephanie. Okay? Because, yeah, wait a second. You can go tell her when you go to her room or something, but, right then and there? Oh, my gosh. So it is then a little bit later, and they start to get ready for dinner. Alexia had glam. Looked like Larsa had glam. I'm sure most of them probably had glam. By the way, apparently Larsa kept getting calls from guys, or from a guy saying, I have a crush on you, and then they would hang up. Stephanie then asks her, are you dating anyone? And then she says to her that she thinks she should stop with the athletes, maybe date a business guy or something like that. The problem, though, is Larsa, she wants someone that's, super young. And I don't know if she does that because she thinks that'll keep her young. I don't know. Larsa definitely has an issue where she wants to be, popular and trendy and, like that. And it's kind of sad. If you were in your 20s, even 30s, doing that, I get it, but you have grown kids, you need to calm down. Why are you trying to be a baddie? I don't know, it's a little bit too much. Because even one of the guys who was there, I can't remember if it was her, a makeup artist or someone in her entourage, he was like, if you had two guys and they had the exact same bank account, everything was pretty much the same, the only difference is one of them was 25 years old and the other one was 75, who would you pick? And she was like, the 25-year-old, because I don't want to go to bed at 8 p.m. So then Stephanie's like, me and Masood, sometimes we stay up till 9:30 9:30 p.m. But you know what? In a way, that could be better, okay? After a certain time at night, nothing good really happens. Anywho, so then everybody heads out for dinner. They arrive at a restaurant, and there was a traditional singer singing a particular music style. I can't remember the name of it, but I did take a Spanish civilization class in college where we studied everything about Spain. Flamenco, I think it's called flamenco. And Marysol asked the singer to sing a song to Alexia, and he did. He took that personally, he made that song personal. It was about love and hurt, and it was just very emotional. It was kind of funny though, because he's singing so passionately. Marysol and Alexia are in tears. Meanwhile, everybody's just sitting there, and Larsa just can't hold in the laughter. Listen, I enjoyed that. That little scene was something else. So then they begin with the food. Julia says, like, welcome to Sevilla. Alexia, this is about you. We want to make you feel special, blah, blah, blah. By the way, you guys, where is Lisa? That's like the new Where is Waldo. Where is Lisa? She apparently had to... her flight landed in London, then from London to Madrid, then from Madrid she had to take a train to Sevilla all by herself. And you know what? That can probably be very scary, but that's what she gets. That's what she gets. If you're going to be late, you're going to pay the consequences. Stephanie tells them that tomorrow they are all going to be going to a woman's shop. Her name is Isabella, because they're all going to get special flamenco dresses from that lady's shop that I guess Stephanie knows her. They do have appointment times though that they have to go in. So like, is Lisa going to make it? That's what they need to figure out. Because listen, when you're on a trip, there are so many things that need to be done at like a specific time. So for Lisa to be this irresponsible, it really is frustrating to all of them. And yeah, and that's why Stephanie, remember when she put Lisa in her place a few episodes ago, she was right. Larsa then says, enough about Lisa. We had so much fun at the private jet. Then Marysol, she just can't help herself. So she says, did anyone else get feel a weird vibe? Like when we first arrived, it was like a weird energy. And then Julia tells Alexia that y'all were just talking about her. Larsa's like, no, it wasn't a weird vibe. Stephanie was just saying that she wants to get to know Alexia. It wasn't anything bad. Alexia says to Stephanie, well, I feel like, you've had time to get to know all the other women, but like, you've judged me since day one. She then says to Stephanie, like, you keep saying defamatory things about me. How dare you accuse me? You don't even know me, and you're new. You're not going to come in here into this group and change the dynamics of the group, because these women have been with me for years. So she was kind of like going off, and Stephanie, she was hearing her out. She let Alexia finish. She didn't interrupt her. But once Alexia is finished, Stephanie says, okay, first of all, you're not going to tell me what dynamics I am or am not going to change. Second, I'm sorry you were offended. Sometimes the truth hurts. Alexia says, who the F do you think you are? Stephanie says, Stephanie Shojais. And Alexia says, and I'm Alexia Napola. Stephanie's like, yeah, and you're very insecure. Alexia's like, no, you're insecure. You have insecurities. Stephanie says, no, like everywhere we go, here you have to be saying, oh, I'm Alexia. My confidence bothers you. And then Stephanie's like, jealousy's a disease. They're just going back and forth. And who created this drama? Julia. But nevertheless, the bombs exploded. Stephanie and Alexia, I'm telling you guys, they were going back and forth and back. It was like a tennis match. And then Marysol was like, where did it go wrong with you guys? Stephanie says, every event we've gone to, I've tried to talk to her. And then she says things to me like I'm a chihuahua. Alexia then says, you take things too personal, my friend. Which that's where I was like, okay, Alexia, you're projecting. You take things way too personal. So then they start going at each other, you guys. Like, well, you were barking. Well, you sounded like a chihuahua. Well, you have a big head. You like to bite people. It was very heated. But in a way, it was very entertaining. I will say that. Alexia says, like, you were dangling the carrot on who was going to ride your jet. And then Stephanie's like, you know what? After they've gone at it for a while then, Stephanie says, you know what? I will be the bigger person. Alexia, I actually like you. I was rubbed the wrong way. Maybe I shouldn't have. I feel offended when you called me a kiss ass. I do regret calling Todd trash. That is the one thing I do regret. I'm not against you. I'm sorry I shouldn't have said that. But you called me names too. So then Alexia says, yeah, and I'm sorry. Stephanie's like, let's make amends. And then Alexia says, I think we're actually going to be really great friends. What? Okay. Then they end the night celebrating. And that was the end. So the dinner actually was pretty well. Like, it was pretty good. Like, they hashed it out and then they came to a resolution, which I can appreciate for sure. Then, much later, after traveling for almost 24 hours, Lisa finally makes it. She goes to Marysol and Alexia's room, acting like nothing happened. And Alexia's like, what happened? And Lisa's like, oh, nothing. It's late. We're in a beautiful place. Alexia's like, don't you think it's like rude and disrespectful? Lisa's like, how? You know what? Don't even tell me. We're not doing this right now. And that was the end of the episode. Listen, you guys, it is one thing like that you're late, but then to act like nothing is wrong, that's like even worse. I would have been so mad. I would have told Lisa to get the hell out of my room because like you were wrong. But anywho, Lisa is Lisa. Like I said, that was the end of the episode. I really enjoyed it. Bravo is doing some weird things. I don't know what is going on, but they're doing a 2-night episode. So we're getting the episode tonight, the one that I just recapped. That's for episode 9, and episode 10 will actually be on tomorrow, which is Thursday, right after the Real Housewives of Orange County. We're gonna recap Orange County tomorrow, and then I will recap Miami's episode on Friday. So I'll post that on Friday. So yeah, just be on the lookout for that. But you guys, let me know what your thoughts were about this episode. What did you make of this Stephanie and Alexia good old housewife confrontation? I will say, as we are progressing, I'm starting to kind of see why Stephanie got that first chair in the reunion. We still got some episodes to go, but you guys, let me know your thoughts. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all next time. Y'all have a great one. Bye.